Hi, hello colleagues, and welcome to this live talk on UNHCR's digital transformation. I'm Ondine from the Digital Service based in Copenhagen, and in the next 45 minutes or so, we'll talk about how we engage communities digitally, or a topic we could translate in UNHCR's jargon as digital AAP, which stands for Accountability to Affected People. As you know, we use digital platforms and tools every day to communicate with each other. So it's really crucial that we make the most, we use them to their full potential in the way we provide information to communities, and we also get information from them. And we have a fantastic agenda for you today. We'll start with a global overview of what we do at UNHCR in terms of digital AAP, and then we'll focus on two local projects from Jordan and Poland, which were recipients of the Digital Innovation Fund. So that's why we start with our colleague Taina from the Innovation Service. We'll say a few words about the Innovation Fund. It is recorded. We'll have time, hopefully, for questions at the end, and the recording will be also available on the internet in a few days. Taina, over to you.
Thanks, Ondine, and good morning, good afternoon, colleagues. I'm Taina Martins, the program lead of the Digital Innovation Program. And on behalf of the Innovation Service, I would like to thank you all for making the time today to hear about two really interesting projects supported by the Innovation Service Digital Innovation Fund. In case you're not familiar, the Innovation Service aims to create an enabling environment for innovation to flourish at UNHCR, providing holistic support to UNHCR colleagues and refugee-led organizations. We run a yearly call for proposals for our innovation funds, one dedicated to refugee-led organizations, and three others for UNHCR colleagues, looking to explore ideas related to data, environment and climate action, and digital. I'll focus on the last one. So through the Digital Innovation Fund, we encourage UNHCR colleagues to submit ideas to tackle the challenge they face by exploring how to leverage digital technology to enhance the lives and well-being of forcibly displaced persons, and of course, improve the way UNHCR works. The fund offers financial support, technical guidance, monitoring support, and strategic communications to amplify the reach of lessons, successes, and failures of their innovation journey. Between 2022 and 2024, the fund received over 106 applications and supported 25 projects. As a key driver of UNHCR's digital transformation strategy, the fund focuses on digital inclusion, digital protection, and digital service. One of the key areas colleagues have explored over the years is how to engage with communities digitally. From piloting a WhatsApp chatbot that is now scaled in several operations to projects like the ones Shazad and Yulia will present today. Each innovation journey is different and flexibility is a must, but a key factor across the different projects is the importance of meaningful participation by forcibly displaced persons, ensuring the projects are developed with communities and adapt to their needs and preference. For example, we had a great feedback from the WhatsApp bot in Brazil from a Venezuelan woman. She talked of the initiative in high praise, and she said she was a WhatsApp fanatic, and the channel that UNHCR created, it's very important to her because it allows a direct communication, a communication she was already thinking it was missing for a long time. And in case you have ideas, you might be thinking, when is the next call? Well, the timeline for the next call for proposals is still to be confirmed due to the current organization's context, but I encourage you all to take a look at our external websites, social media pages, and intranet to learn more about the service, to check our reports, and also blog stories about the different projects. Well, we couldn't do this alone, and we have the support of public and private sector donors who believe in our mission and made possible earmarked funds that would otherwise be unavailable to the organization. We also have great support within UNHCR, showcased, for example, by over 6 colleagues from HQ and regional bureaus who participated in the fund's technical committee last year. And also the steering committee composed of senior management from 5 divisions from UNHCR and one of our key donors, Luxembourg. During implementation, we also encourage colleagues to explore synergies with ongoing global initiatives, including those led by Digital Service and the AAP. So it's a great pleasure to be here joined by Anna and Tomoko and to hear their insights before we dive into the projects in Jordan and Poland. Thank you so much, and over to you, Anna and Tomoko.
Thank you, Raina. And it's also a very much pleasure to be here with you today. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Anna Tomapidis. I work on the digital service and I coordinate the help websites and other websites that are refugee facing. We are always in collaboration, and it's also one of the major projects that has started as a digital innovation project. And we are here yet today with 145 countries now adopted, and it's a key instrumental protection tool that we use. Creating digital solutions only makes sense if they are developed with the user at the center. This means that any digital project should aim at in solving a problem that people think it is important solving, is informed by people's needs, preferences, and includes end users in the process from inception to adoption. It is not just testing with a handful of users when the team has spent a lot of resources already and time into a complex product at the end of a project close to a deadline. In UNHCR, engaging communities, including the digital environment, needs to be invariably guided by the accountability to affected people, AAP principles, as Ondine rightfully said. With that, I'll pass on to Tomoko.
Thank you, Anna. It's also a pleasure to be here with you. My name is Tomoko Ishihara. I'm working as a protection officer in AAP unit at DIP. So we are currently reassessing our efforts around the 4 AAP core actions based on the 2018 Age, Gender and Diversity Accountability Policy, was also mentioned by Anna. So I'd like to highlight key findings coming out from the discussions with multifunctional teams based on the country level self-assessment. First, core action is participation and inclusion. We continue to have participatory assessments, and we also have a strong institutional structures for participation like refugee committees, IDP councils, etc. But we lack depth in engagement. So there's a need to expand on modality of engagement, promoting inclusivity and ensuring participation throughout the programming cycle, which goes beyond participatory assessment. And in this regard, technology will help address certain barriers to enable communities to participate better. And then the second core action is communication and transparency. We note that there's a limited channels of communication, so where there's a need also for diversifying channels, and then there's lack of easily deployable global tools and platforms that create, to some extent, inefficiencies. And the third is feedback and response. There are challenges categorizing, consolidating, and then analyzing information due to lack of tools. So responses are not systematically tracked or monitored, and then feedback loop is therefore not closed. And the fourth core action is about organizational learning and adaptation. And then the findings show that 90% of the operations responded that they are not doing well on this one. There's no culture to use feedback and information. We institutionalized participatory assessments, but no checkpoints in programming cycle to compel ourselves to see how we adapt our feedback. So with this situational analysis, currently we're looking at 3 organizational shifts with the view that by 2030, forcibly displaced and stateless people has an increased trust in UNHCR and can systematically influence the direction of our work. The first is a standardization. So we as a UNHCR staff better understand what is required of them. So for example, we have a new mandatory AAP checkpoints in the revised 2025 program handbook. And there's also a standard feedback and response system tools developed recently based on the interagency standing committee's standards on collective feedback mechanisms. And the second shift is the institutionalization, that we have improved tools, processes that includes easily deployable global solutions, for example, for contact centers, as well as capacities and skills. And the third one we are looking at is organizational culture, that we strengthen our efforts to adapt our response based on the community feedback. That is also respond to the fact that 90% of operations responded they are not doing well on the fourth core action. Hand over to you, Anna.
Thanks a lot, Tomoko. So how does that apply then to digital innovation projects? Today we have two amazing and yet very different digital innovation projects that you heard about in this talk. And field-driven projects are so important. They connect organizational guidance and tech advancements with real-life problems and can inform adaptations even to programs that are far in advanced implementation status. For Jordan, and you will see, this means leveraging a hot topic of the moment, AI, and a long-standing protection issue, like long waiting periods for people to get through to us. In Poland, we will have another side of this, how people's behavior and you already use tools can inform actually how we can tailor our support to them to be compatible with the tools that they already use. A quick of a spoiler alert, the Poland program in the consultation with people with disabilities has already informed the ongoing redesign of the help websites, which we're launching this year. So with that, back to you, Undine.
Thank you so much, Tomoko and Anna. Super interesting overview. And now we'll dive in with the local projects, and we'll start with our colleague Shahzad Hasgar from the Jordan operation. Shahzad, thank you so much for joining this call. So let's start with how it all started. What was the problem you identified and wanted to solve with your project?
First of all, thank you very much for inviting. As I was talking with you and many colleagues, since we started this project in 2023, we are getting a lot of requests. So far, we have received from 20 plus countries. They are interested how we are leveraging, how we are doing that. So this is the platform where colleagues will get a small flavor what exactly is this problem. So the problem is not specific for one operation, for one refugee. So right now I'm based in Jordan as a senior information management. Before coming here, I was in the headquarters with division of emergency. So means that lot of deployments in the country. So I was in more than 12 countries during this emergency deployments. And I found the bottlenecks getting the feedback from the refugee is the nightmare. I learned very hard way. Like colleague was talking about 90%. We have the classical way to obtain the feedback. We have classical focal group discussions, old-fashioned IVR helpline systems, long COBO forms. So this is from the feedback perspective. So if you see the other way around, our UNHCR decision makers, when they receive this feedback, too late. There is analysis, there is a lot of things. So this was the problem, how to build a communication channel where refugee can go and express and provide their feedback. So that was the main problem that we really wanted to solve.
Great, thank you. So what is the solution? So we got a hint from Anna, but could you explain a little bit?
Yeah. So the solution was we tried a lot of ways, a lot of kind of solutions, but we end up when 2023 Innovation Fund was there and we were having some focal group discussion in Jordan operations. This is basically, we don't take credit for this idea. This idea was coming from Refugee itself. I will show you in a bit. So the idea was to establish an independent platform, because the problem, as I said, was limited that a refugee needs a landline to call, telephone to call, internet to call, to provide their feedback, to fill long form. So the solution is to, we have developed a platform that allow refugee 24/7, whatever platform they like. If they have internet, they can go on web, they can provide their feedback. If they have WhatsApp, they can use WhatsApp. If they have normal old Nokia phone, they can do the same thing as well. So breaking the barriers, it will save the cost, whose cost, and we did last year some analysis around it will save 45,000 hours from the staff as well. So two angles: one, refugee, whenever they want, they can provide the feedback without any barriers. And then for the decision makers, they will get the information in real time. They don't require to wait and wait and wait. So this is the solution. I will show you how it works, what it entail, and what are the functions. Yeah.
Great, sounds really exciting. So please, please to explain how it works and
okay.
the
So I
rigor is.
will quickly go and share. Here we go. So basically, this digital app connecting stories to the solution, the main theme behind was, if voice is delayed, help delayed. So as I said, we have so many ways to receive the feedback, but not on real time kind of thing. And then again, where I was telling that this is basically the idea that came itself from the refugee, and we submitted the innovation funding and we got it. So the whole theme of this whole our project that was very unique and appreciated from the refugee, built not just for refugee but with refugee. So what does it mean in our for this project? Not only we use refugee for testing or refugee for designing the system. So from the beginning, from the ideation, we did 60 plus focal group discussions. We collect new ideas that we implement during our project implementation process. We involve refugee in prototype development. We involve them in field testing, final product validation, and also, as I said, we are using AI. So it was very important to include refugee for the testing. So the refugees were included in each and every step. And if I claim that this was very successful project, that was something because the refugee were the center of this project. So I will show you some of the quotes that we got during implementation, during development of this project from the refugees. They were giving us the feedback that this is aha moment for them. They can use WhatsApp. They can call anytime to record their message. They don't need to require wait to someone attend from UNHCR side. They feel like it was magic. They can talk in their own dialogue, their own kind of language. So it was overwhelmed kind of thing. So now I will go and give you the high level of overview of the platform. And meanwhile, I'm talking, I asked my colleague Dana, she will be dropping a link, and other colleague as well, that we designed because we have a very limited time. If you have any question, if you want to contribute ideas, you can use this form and you can get it the answers. So basically, simple loop, the refugee provide their feedback. There's AI engine, AI transcription, categorization, and summarization, automatic processing. And during this whole test period, we also like involve human review for validation, 100% when we were testing with the refugees. And when we will implement in future, we will decide whether it is 20% or 30% that will be human reviewed. This is like a simple loop for refugee. They pick their phone, they provide their feedback, AI categorize, summarize, and human review. And then what is for the UNHCR decision maker? So in real time, they will get a data analytics platform, qualitative analysis in runtime. They will see a live interactive map, what exactly in which area it is happening, whether it is Ajmani, whether it's Turi, whatever area you are talking about, what are the issues that are popping up, what are the feedback that refugees are saying. And the third part is referrals and alerts. And of course, the output of this whole thing is decision made and solution provided to the refugee. So this is how this will work. So if you want, I can go and show you how we do the validation. So this is the intake. There is the web platform. Refugee can go, they can validate their information, UNHCR individual ID, their date of birth and date of arrival. That validates, and after that, they see a nice screen where they can record their message for 1 minute. And as I said, the center we co-created with refugees. So that was the initial idea to have this web-based interface. But we receive feedback from refugee, hey, 90% of refugees are using the WhatsApp. Why don't you make this independent platform? If someone is comfortable with web, they can go and feed the web. If someone is easy with WhatsApp, they can do. So we did it. What we did it, the same thing. We have a WhatsApp chatbot, same functionality, doesn't matter. You like a web, you like a WhatsApp, you will validate your credentials and you will send your voice message. And the same thing we tested. If you have normal Nokia old phone, you can just call the number and then you can record the message. So this is basically kind of in tech in future. If some of the countries they approach us, yes, in future, if there some of the countries are receiving feedback from Outlook, that can be also combined. So there is one engine that combines that one. So now a lot of talk. I will show you a demo how refugee themselves can do. I will go in English. Uh, so you see here, refugees will be validating their information. So once they will validate their information, and then they will see this screen, validate, and then they will start recording. They will hear the prompt.
Thank you for calling UNHCR Jordan. Please proceed to record your call now.
Some families are having problems with landlords because of high rent or late payments, and some are being threatened with eviction. Is there any community or legal support that can help us in this situation? Thank you.
Your call has been recorded. Please note that this system is not intended to provide individual feedback, but focuses on collecting information for a community-based response. To learn more, visit the UNHCR help site.
So this is like how it will work, and we tested in Arabic, English languages, and also we tested in other 10 languages. So the automatically the prompt that you were hearing, it will be automatically translated in Arabic, French, Chinese interface, and also refugees from anywhere. So for example, if tomorrow Ukraine operation want to leverage that one, they can just pick it and they can use it that one. So there is no specific design for Arabic and English language. So this is the product, and what is like kind of end product. So that is quite interesting, and that is creating excitement in the colleagues. Okay, refugees provided their feedback, it is analyzed. So what is the end product for UNHCR protection staff, UNHCR community-based staff, senior manager? So there are three key products as I indicated. So it is the dashboard, chatbot, and referral. So first I will show you the magic of chatbot that will save the life of and hours of many our UNHCR colleagues. So it is very simple: transcription, categorization, summary. So here is demo. So you can go quickly to this chatbot. You can ask, can you summarize the top 3 issues reported by refugees in urban area? You will be able to see a complete analysis. What is the security and safety concern, protection concerns, what are the wash concerns, what are the implications? Not only that one, if you say, hey, from where this information is coming, you have all the way sources you can see from where this information is coming. So you don't need a lot of data analysis. Let me give you another example of one of the other query that you can ask. Are there is any common trends in feedback about education services in refugee? Here we go. So you will get a comprehensive analysis, qualitative analysis directly from the system, talking about some recommendations, some implementation, some kind of thing. So one other, so if I will say, how has the issue of cash assistant evolved over the last 3 months? So it will show you the whole trends with comparative analysis automatically. What was in December? What was in January? What is the narrative commentary? Remember, all this on one click. When refugees give the feedback, everything comes. So it is kind of anything that you can compare, you can see the trends. It will give you comparison between two camps, like I'm doing here, Azraq and Irbit. What are the observations, top concerns, mention count, security concerns, and narrative community. So this is kind of tool that senior management decision makers can make it. And guess what? How long it takes? So, for example, refugee provide their feedback. It comes immediately to available for the chat and for this analysis. So let me move to the next product. So second one is the similar kind of thing that is not some of the colleagues who are not like liking the chat. They want to see overview of what exactly is happening. So if they, for example, they have the monitoring screen specifically during the emergency, so they can go and see this live map directly. What are the problems that are occurring, from where, what is the trend. And remember, these are the transcription that are coming live and automatically they are going there. So similar kind of thing, but it shows the heat map. Where is the problem? If there is SGBV issue, wash issues, if some refugees are reporting issue related to the cash withdrawal or wash issues, diarrhea issues, so we can do, and it is fully self-service dashboard that is linked with that one. And then we have the third one, that is automatically referral system. That is part of it, that it is not 100% we completed, but we configure in a way in some of the operation where they need, okay, this feedback is coming and now it should be referred to the other unit. So we have configured the system in a way it can automatically create the referrals and to send to particular unit as well. So in nutshell, this is my last slide, that this is the loop. Refugee provide the feedback, and then there is WhatsApp app, web app, normal landline phone that goes there. There is AI analysis and referrals, then decisions, and then when the community-based decisions the UNHCR take, it directly provides services to the refugees. And over to you if you have any further question. And also, again, I will remind you that we have this link and we have created, many thanks for innovation colleagues, we have created 100 burning questions asked from around the world, from our operation, from refugee. So you can ask and we can drop that link to get this 100 question regarding data protection, data security, regarding AI bias, which technology we are using. And also in the form that you will get, if you are more interested to get a technical information, or if you are interested to have one-to-one session to more deep dive, or if you want to help us to test that one, then it is available. So yeah, over to you if you have any further question.
Thank you, Shadat. So yeah, colleagues, please put your questions in the chat if you have questions for Shadat. This, I mean, you can see all the claps and the hearts you got. It was super interesting, and I love that it really meets people where they are. So that's super impactful, and it looks scalable. Thank you so much. We'll move to Poland and our colleague Julia in Poland. Hi, Julia. So I will start spotlighting you. So thank you also so much for joining this call and explaining your project. And let's start with also from the beginning. What was the problem you identified? How does it all started? Over to you.
Thank you, Ondine. Hello, colleagues. Nice to meet you all today. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Great. Thank you very much. UNHCR in Poland operates mostly in urban settings, where refugee population is scattered across the centers, suburbs, and the small villages surrounding the city. This situation makes the online information provision essential to reach to refugees across the Poland. So, according to the multi-sectoral needs assessment, 4% of refugees in Poland have visual impairments, which gives us the figure of 40,000 refugees in Poland. According to participatory assessment 2022, refugees with visual impairments face difficulties in accessing information online. And while us and other humanitarian partners develop so much information online, we actually leave these people behind. And the lack of access to information online leads to the inability for them to access protection, social benefits, the services they require, and sometimes even to meet basic needs. This also may cause the risk of dependency on their neighbors, on their peers or relatives, and sometimes may cause exploitation. And at the end, it leads to the undermined ability for them to rebuild their life in Poland. Over.
Thanks, Julia. So tell us, once you've identified this problem, how did you come up with a solution that sounded viable?
Yeah, now let me tell you a bit how the project worked. So actually, these were our partners for communication with communities, Foundation Institute Poland Ukraine, who approached us with the idea to improve their website for refugees with visual impairments. As we in Community-Based Protection Unit don't have this expertise, we suggested to involve another local partner, the refugee-led organization supporting persons with disabilities and their families. And by this, this was actually the perfect scenario of community-based protection, because the whole initiatives was led by refugees. First, a refugee-led observatory was formed, which included the technical expertise for communication platform, humanitarian expertise from organizations supporting persons with disabilities, and refugees with visual impairments and insights. Further, the larger advisory group was formed, which includes refugees with different kinds of disabilities to be consulted on the specific challenges they face when accessing information online. And the project did this through focus group discussions and key informant interviews. And together, they found and proposed several solutions. First is a recommendation to humanitarian actors. Two refugee-led observatory members, being themselves refugees with visual impairments, tested the website of humanitarian, the accessibility of websites of humanitarian partners. Second, and this was done in response to the feedback we received from refugees, this was training on accessibility tools for refugees with disabilities. And this was done also by the member of the refugee-led observatory, being a refugee with visual impairment. And third, this was development of the checklist for accessible content for organizations supporting refugees with disabilities who wish to improve their communication platforms. Over.
Thanks. So since the project has been implemented already, do you already get insights on the impact?
Yes, and here for impact, thank you for the question. I would like to talk a bit about the figures and also some quotes received. So first, recommendation to humanitarian actors. 4 organizations were engaged in the project, and these were UNHCR main partners in Krakow and Wrocław. Second, the Foundation Institute Poland Ukraine web page, which is the main source of information for refugees in Krakow, was improved. Also, as it was already mentioned, the UNHCR help page was improved thanks to the online interviews with refugees with visual impairments. Then, 8 refugees with disabilities participated in the training for refugees with disabilities, and the training itself was recorded and shared through the communication channels of the organization supporting persons with disabilities. And the last one, the checklist for accessible digital content. 175 refugees and their caregivers were consulted throughout the project to develop the checklist. And we envisage 1,640 indirect beneficiaries in Malopolska voivodeship of Poland. That's it for the quantitative, and for the qualitative, which I like the most here, is the quote from the participant that testing of the digital sources by persons with visual impairments themselves who use these sources makes this process meaningful. Over.
Great. And as Anna mentioned also already, this research, this project has already informed the redesign of the Hub site, which in terms of scalability is great to see. So do you have any recommendations for colleagues here who would be interested in doing similar research or leading a similar projects in their operation?
Sure, we will gladly share our lessons learned and our good practices for you. And please do not hesitate to reach out in case you want more in-depth discussion about the project. So let's consider the project cycle and start from the needs assessment. Here we suggest to include the disability-specific question in the participatory assessment to gather the very first insights from the persons with disabilities and to disaggregate the data by disability, both qualitative and quantitative. For the second stage, for the planning, it helped us a lot that our agenda was not fully packed, and we do recommend to leave some room, some flexibility for implementation, like plan for 80% of your regular working time to be able to absorb the challenges you may face throughout the project. Our challenges were programmatic, and we were able to absorb it because of the not packed agenda. For the implementation, we suggested to envisage some coaching for refugees with disabilities participating in the project who were never humanitarian staff. So envisage some more time for meetings, some maybe additional trainings for them to move to the leadership role more from the technical role they already know, and also the capacity building for partners who participate in the project. For the monitoring, and this is the best part of the innovation project, which allows for flexibility for testing, adjusting the decisions, and introducing the new elements. Here we introduced the training for refugees with disabilities, which wasn't envisaged from the beginning of the project, but this was the feedback we heard from them. They themselves need this expertise on which tools to use to access the information online. And this became very important element for the project. And last, the reporting and evaluation. Please collect pictures, quotes, and numbers to be able to communicate the results on the project. And I have to admit, we could have done better on that. Over.
Great, really, really, really advanced and helpful insights for colleagues. So thank you so much, Julia, for sharing your experience and your journey through this project. We have 5 minutes left for questions to any of the speakers. I mean, I can see in the chat there are already a lot of questions being answered, but feel free to also raise a hand if you want to ask your question, or any of the speakers. I can see you've already answered a few, but if you want to add clarifications, now is the time. Anna? Shazad?
Can I add one thing?
Yes, please.
So I forget to mention like recommendation and lesson learned kind of thing, So one of the bottleneck that we face is this digital literacy and data literacy. That is something that we really face challenges. And at the beginning of the project, to be very honest, we were thinking that we will face this issue from the refugee side. But I am, to be very honest, refugee, they are well literate. But when it's come to our environment, it took us long to explain what exactly is the system, how data it works, what is the quality of data. So this is one of the things that we did the mini kind of workshop, and some of the colleagues, they learn and they help us a lot. The second lesson learned that was like a game changer for us, not only consult the refugee, but involve them from ideation to the deployment. That was the game changer. And this is, I have no hesitation to say, in my 15-year working with UNHCR, this is first time I applied, and that is the game changer, how your client, how your customers are providing the feedback. So if you will see what we requested, how we started, and how we end up, that is something that is a great lesson learned. Over.
Thank you, Shazad. Really good clarification. we have a question from Claudia. What are the steps to follow if a country operation would like to explore the possibility of applying these tools in our local context? Anna, you want to take this one?
I can in parts, and maybe Taina can add on to it. But one thing that I would say is that Claudia is not the first one to ask a similar question in the chat today. And honestly, it's also one of the outcomes that Tomoko made reference to in her intervention, saying that operations see very little of this type of engagement, right? Lessons learned, sharing, and opportunities to really share the tools and seeing how they could apply at a local level. I would say that each tool is different and each problem and challenge is different. At the moment, these projects are quite localized. They are not yet at a global level, right, Anna? And then I think it needs a much more validation on the local challenges and also on the availability of resources at a local level to take it forward at your own context. As a rule of thumb, I would say let's reach out to the teams that you've seen speaking today, but also to us at headquarters level to put you in touch if you are interested in any of the initiatives. Maybe I'll pass on to Taina.
Thanks, Anna. Yeah, and just to reiterate, so we provide support for our colleagues to pilot ideas and explore that sometimes are successful, sometimes are not, right? And we try as much as possible to bring those synergies with other colleagues exploring different challenges, and of course with HQ initiatives. So in the case of Jordan and Poland, feel free to reach out to colleagues, but also we have other projects, and I've seen questions around AI-powered apps, and potentially on Dean, there's a suggestion we can also have a live talk about some of the Data Innovation Fund projects that are around AI from the appetite, from the questions, to keep the lessons learned type of environment growing and more connection flourishing from these conversations. Back to you. But I don't know if Shazad and Yulia, you already want to provide that connection for your own project.
So many thanks to the team that was like an innovation team, and we designed since from the day one the system that is play and plug. So for example, if tomorrow Uganda team wants, they just need to go through their own data protection, cybersecurity kind of thing, and is ready to run. It is very lightweight system, and that's why Dana, my colleague, she will send again form in the chat if you are interested. The entry point is our innovation team because they are the owner of this kind of application, and we are happy to provide, deploy, and then you guys can use it. So it is no technical. You don't need any Shazad, Dana here and there to develop. So it's play and plug. You can use. So it is customizable, but you have to make it in your context. So this is what I want to just share. Yeah.
Julia?
I think I just wanted to thank the Digital Innovation Project and the Digital Service colleagues for all the support you rendered to us, for all the already existing guidance that you shared, and for your also support with development of the checklist design, which is one pager. It's really great and easy to read and easy to implement. So whenever, of course, your expertise is much higher than us, but whenever colleagues need our expertise on the particular project, we're happy to support. Thank you, over.
Great, thank you, Julia. So we're reaching the end of this talk. The chat is still open. If you have more questions coming, we'll try to answer them as much as possible. Thank you to all the speakers, Shazad, Tomoko, Julia, Anna, Taina, that's in the order of my screen, for sharing all your insights today. Thank you to all participants. Again, the recording will be available, I'll send it in the chat when it's on the internet. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Bye.